Hi guys, this is Anuja Mariyam and welcome to the second exercise of Units and Units Lab, which is conditional statements using shell script. Now I'll go through 5 questions. The first question is to find the greatest of 3 numbers. Second question is to find the student grade calculation, and the third one is to find the electricity bill. Third one is to check if the given alphabet is a vowel or a constant. And the fifth one is to check if the input value is a palindrome or not. Now let's go to these programs one by one. First of all, let's go to student grade calculation. Now I'm doing this. This is a program to find the grade calculation. Here I have assigned 3 variables A, B and C to input marks for 3 subjects, and the sum of these 3 subjects is given to the variable called tot, which represents total value, and by this statement that is echoed $tot. This displays the value in the variable tot is the sum. This gets displayed, and then we are getting into the condition statement in shell scripting, that is if, and the syntax goes like this: if, then space, and then we have a bracket where we give the condition. Right now our condition is that we check if the value of total is less than 50. If so, then we echo F grade, that is we display F grade. Similarly, if the total grade is between 50 and 100, then it's B grade, that is for pass, and if it's between 100 and 150, then it's B grade, and if it's between 150 and 200, then it's A grade, and if it's between 200 and 250, it's S grade, otherwise it's O grade, that is if it's greater than 250, then it's O grade. Now I'll run the program. Here, as you can see, I've already run the program once. So, yeah, as you can see, I've given 3 marks, that is 25, 5, and 3, which is 35, and the corresponding grade is F. And here I've given two 25 marks, which gives the sum as 75 and gives B grade. Similarly, I've given corresponding values for O grade and S grade, respectively. Now let's go to the other programs. Now I'll go to the greatest of 3 numbers, that is I have to do it in, okay. Here by this statement I read the first value, that is A, and similarly for B and C. By these statements what I'm doing is I'm getting 3 different values. So yeah, that is done using variable A, B and C, and then I check if A is greater than B and C. If so, then I display A is the greatest number. Otherwise, that is elif, I check if B, that is the value in the variable B, is greater than A and C, if though B is the greatest value. Otherwise, I can conclude that C is the value in C variable is the greatest value. Now I'll run the program. Enter the first value, 1, 2, 3. And we can see that 3 is the greatest value. Hence, we conclude that our first question, that is find the greatest number, has been successfully completed. Now, coming to the next question, that is electricity bill calculator. So coming to electricity bill calculator, how I've done the program is I've assigned a particular value to certain units, and then I multiply that particular rate into the input unit, and then it gives the resultant bill. That is I enter the units here using the variable A, and then I check if the value A is greater than, if it's between 0 and 100. If so, I multiply the given value, that will given units, by 1 rupee. Otherwise, I check if it's between 100 and 200, that is the input is between 100 and 200. If so, I multiply it by 2 rupees, and otherwise I multiply it by 5 rupees. Now I'll run the program. Enter units, let it be 46 units. 46 is the amount to be paid, and in case if it's 460 units, then the answer is 2300. Hence, the third program has also been successfully compiled. Now let's go to the next question, which is to check if an alphabet is a vowel or not. As you can see, I got the input using the variable a, and then I check if a is equal to a, e, I, o, or u. And if this is true, then I display the statement it's a vowel. Otherwise, not a vowel. Now I'll run the program. Enter the variable to check q, not a vowel. S A is a vowel. Now coming to the last question is to check if the number is palindrome or not. And a number palindrome means if the number or the given input is reversed, it has to give the initial input which is given by the user. Such a number is called a palindrome. Now I'll run and see. As you can see, I have taken the input and then I've see if I've checked if it's greater than 0. That is, I've used a while loop here, and as long as this is true, I come to the next statement, that is, I store the remainder of the values quotient into the variable st and its quotient to x, and then there's a variable called reverse where I give the new value, and if new value is equal to the old value, then it's a palindrome. Otherwise, it's not a palindrome. Run, enter another 121. It's a palindrome because reversing 121 will always give you 121. Now I'll go to another one, 123. Not a palindrome because 123 when reversed gives 321 and not 123. Hence we can conclude that this particular exercise was successfully executed. And thank you so much for watching.